Papa, I'm kind of tired. Could you tell us a bedtime story or something?
A bedtime story?
Yeah.
What kind of bedtime story would you like to hear?
I don't know. How about the one where you stopped Archduke Franz Ferdinand from getting assassinated?
No, that needed to happen so that we'd get hentai.
Oh, right. Well, what about the garden, Adam and Eve? You were there? Were you the snake? I forget.
I was never
Can
the
you
snake.
tell us what happened during the Big Bang? Like, who's even around to bang at that
Were
point?
you banging something, Papa?
We all make mistakes in the heat of passion, Jimbo.
Papa, you've got a lot of stuff to explain to us.
Is the universe an accidental pregnancy that you started?
Were we?
He was.
Where are we?
You weren't.
Yay!
We're twins. How the hell does that work?
I don't know.
They only ever planned for one.
And you decided I'm the accident.
Look, man, those Pokemon coins, they be weighted. Am I right?
So
There was a
Is that
pause
what-
there.
Is that what children play with?
You looked at me and you said, "Am I right?" And then you just
Am
paused.
I right?
What are you gonna say, small twin child?
You're the accident. I don't want to hear it from you, Mr. Accident. Papa, tell us a story. I'm tired.
I'm tired.
Well, how about the history of me?
What? No, I'm kidding, Grandpa. I'd love to hear that.
How about you, not mistake?
I'm not a mistake. I'm
Where's
an
my
accident.
sister? Bitch, get us some cocoa.
Shit.
We're having a great time.
I suppose we should be starting from the beginning. So,
Sure.
there I was in my house, minding my own business, when there was a ridiculously bright light.
We're in a basement.
It's never syphilis.
And this was followed by an even more ridiculously loud bang. A big bang, if you will.
So you had a basement before everything existed?
No, I had a house. It was a nice house.
Things got that bad.
It's
Dude, you had a house.
It's a struggle
that's like,
now.
That's like a
Papa,
mythological
you had a house
achievement.
before the Big Bang and then you sold it? You fucking idiot. You could have made so much money.
Dude, there wasn't any existence back then. You could have made so much money.
You had the one house.
That's so much scarcity.
there is a reason why I don't have that house anymore, and we'll get to that.
Was it because of the bang?
Did you lose it in the
No.
divorce? Did she take the Big Bang house?
I feel like... Hold on. Okay. I'm sorry, Papa. We are 6, and we have a lot of questions.
Who said we're 6?
I did, motherfucker. Papa, tell us your story before the mistake opens his mouth again.
I'm not a mistake. I'm an accident.
I'm an accident. I'm 6.
I'm an accident.
For the longest time, it was nice and peaceful there on that island with me and my house. Until this motherfucking fish dog.
Are you Master Roshi?
No.
Just on an island, an old fucking man
Where
with
did the island come from? Existence hasn't started yet. What's the ocean? Fucking space?
Papa flash forwarded a little bit. It's okay.
No,
He knows instant transmission.
This
It's fine.
this place was always here.
Wow.
It was here before the bang.
Do you know its true origins?
Nope.
Oh,
Because it never had origins. Because it's always been.
but you've always been,
Yes.
so you should know them.
No.
Oh.
There's no beginning to a constant being, such as myself.
Okay.
So,
This hurts my 6-year-old brain. I'm still developing.
I'm about to have an accident.
Papa, I had an accident. The cocoa really got to me.
You're getting cocoa? All I got was silk milk.
You are the accident.
Mixed with eggnog.
You're getting eggnog?
Okay, Grandpa. Flash forward again. Where are we now? You're on an island. The house.
It was for the longest time, it was nice and peaceful. Until this motherfucking fish dog thing tried to get all uppity and leave the sea.
Fish dog thing?
Yeah. It looked like a lizard with a big old fin on it.
Are you describing the process of evolution? You watched the first fish walk onto the shores?
Yeah.
You know, I feel like we should kind of explain ourselves at this point.
Like, someone is
I
just
love this bit.
6
but
minutes
we
into the
can-
podcast
yeah, we
and
can
it's just
just
so
losing their
confused.
mind. No. This is the third documentary episode. It's Spence's turn. And Spence has decided to make a documentary about literally every bit of history ever, because he's been around for all of it. As we've explained multiple times in the podcast.
It's just
He's been
the
around
bit.
for all of it.
He's just so fucking old. He's seen fish evolve into mammals.
He was literally around, like, he had a house before even things were a thing. This motherfucker controlled 100% of the real estate market.
And again, there's a reason why I don't have it anymore.
Anyways, I'm 6 again.
So
We can drop the 6
Okay.
a little bit.
we can drop the 6. But
I
I can
don't think
still
I can
continue.
Grandpa, I've grown up. I am a full-grown adult. Your story is really long.
So, just to clarify for everyone tuning in, this is entirely just to explain the bit of Spence being an ancient co-host. He is
He
an
is so
eldritch being.
goddamned old.
I am the eldritch being.
Anyways.
Did H.P.
So-
Lovecraft look up in the sky and like see your reflection looking down, and that's what inspired his stories?
Dude, he was my roommate.
What did you have to goon
Wait,
to?
hold on. You
Yeah, I'll
knew
let
what
you
he
go
named his
first.
cat.
Yeah.
What was it like living with a guy who named his cat that?
You
Well,
get used
he
to
was,
it after a while,
he
I
was
guess.
sort of racist.
That's
Sort
fair.
of.
No, he
Wow.
was racist, yeah.
Anyways,
there's
I
no
needed to
sugarcoating.
ask, because, like,
Wait.
the weird fish dog thing was the only living thing around. What did you goon to?
I didn't have to goon then.
Why?
This was before women
This was before women.
and men.
Right.
Wait, why are you a
Did
dude?
the fish dog thing have a dick? Did
I
it have a
don't know.
gender?
I didn't check,
You didn't
to be
check?
honest.
Oh my god. You could have been like Sigmund, just ripping fucking eels apart trying to find genitals.
Since this fish dog thing that crawled up on the shore is technically our common ancestor, is there a chance you could have gotten it pregnant?
We're moving on. So,
Was this a Vaporeon perchance? You have said it. You didn't say it's a fish dog. I'm just saying Vaporeon is a fish dog.
Oh no!
You know, great
no,
heavens.
we did not have Pokemon then.
The Adam and Eve version of the story your parents didn't tell
The
you.
apple is a busty dog made of water.
The
Oh,
first
great
children.
That
were
is a
Spence
horrible
and
visual.
Vaporeon.
Grandpa, you're a monster. You fucked a dog. And you liked it. I mean, to be fair, your roommate was H.P. Lovecraft, so you know what? I don't really care.
Like, what could you expect?
Like,
at
it's
this
quite
point?
tame in comparison.
How does someone who owns the first ever home end up needing a roommate?
Well, if you let me get back to my
Times were
damn
tough back in
book,
the Mesozoic,
I can
my
tell
brother.
you.
Where do you spend all the money divorcing
He
Vaporeon?
divorced the fish dog. No, straight up.
The fish dog took the first house in the divorce.
Wait.
I have a reason.
Okay,
We just haven't
okay.
gotten there
Whew.
yet.
Chill.
Okay.
I'm
so,
an ice type.
so
Okay,
I'm strong
The-
against water.
Vaporeon's here.
yeah, it tried to get all uppity and leave the sea, right? So, to tell you the-
If I was a fish dog and I saw some weird old man try to finesse me, yeah, I'd probably swim back too.
it didn't swim back. I had to grab that bitch by the neck and frisbee his ass back into the ocean.
So, okay, so the Vaporeon, it's got like frills around its neck. Did you grab it by the circular frills around its neck and toss it
No, much like a goose, I grabbed its neck
Oh,
and
no.
yeeted it back into the
You
sea.
catapulted it back. Okay, so the fish goes back into the sea. What happens?
This worked for some time.
So they
until
kept coming back. Did you
until
impregnate those ones too?
no, until I found them in my backyard trampling my begonias.
Wait, hold on.
Begonias? What the fuck's a begonia? Bless you.
Flowering plants weren't a thing at that time.
Yes, they were.
Dude, the fossil record's wrong by
my
like
God.
millions.
Dude,
years.
that's crazy. I mean, we got Mr. Roshi here.
But again,
fucking
there's a
water
reason
dogs.
why they don't have them in the fossil records, and I'm still getting there.
Did Vaporeon take them in the divorce too?
No,
I guess-
it goes.
Did a dog what it likes? Flowers? Question mark.
We can't
Freaky
leave you
egg,
in
Grandpa.
the Pokemon daycare.
You're literally
worry,
the embodiment
there's-
of Batman. I caught a Vaporeon, Batman.
Don't worry, there's a
You were the
reason.
first.
No, Grandpa, don't do it.
I'm gonna do it, Batman. I'm gonna.
No, Grandpa, that's a Pokemon. You can't fuck the dog.
Batman, there's no laws against the Pokemon. Batman,
Laws
I can
didn't
do it
exist
whatever
at
I
this
want.
point.
There's no laws against anything right now. There's no other people.
You could've fucked
There's
H.P.
just
Lovecraft
you and
and
a
his
water
cat.
dog that apparently took the house at the divorce.
What happened to H.P. Lovecraft?
He's in the future. Dash the past.
He
But the
was
thing-
at the house.
Not
No,
that house.
Not that house. Different house. He needed
is
a
a different
roommate
house.
because
Grandpa,
Vaporeon took
Believe
the
it or
house
not,
in the
there
divorce.
was a little
So you
bit of
got
traveling.
Another. Okay, Grandpa.
So
How did that house come to fruition? How did it exist?
It's always been.
it's always been. I've
Yeah,
told
but
you this.
You lost that house,
Yes.
motherfucker.
But it's not in the way you think. You let me finish, and I'll tell you.
I need to take a breath.
So, that one that trampled my begonias,
Bless
I
you.
ate it. The texture.
You know what?
That's a pretty harsh way to treat an ex-wife, bud.
The texture was slightly
Same,
flaky like
Grandpa.
a salmon,
Say.
How
and
did
it
you
tastes
know what a salmon tasted?
because I'm omnipotent. I'm an eldritch being.
No,
I've been
you're-
here, past, present, and future.
You're old.
Its texture was slightly flaky like salmon, and it tasted like pork. It was horrible.
The Vaporeon?
No, it wasn't a Vaporeon. There's no such thing as Pokemon.
Fucked one.
You're not getting Coco anymore.
Can I get the
It's
Coco?
okay. I'm a fully fledged adult.
No.
I drink alcohol now.
I have alcohol poisoning.
I have a tax payment, a mortgage, and alcohol.
Yes, I pay my
that,
taxes.
that would
and
explain the
yes.
laser raptors.
What?
Anyway, it was horrible to say the least.
Gulp.
After a few of those things got through my nigh impenetrable defenses,
Wow.
they
What
started
an island.
they started evolving.
You had
At
H.P.
first-
Lovecraft and the cat.
At first, they were just these little bird bipedal things. They stuck around in groups. I found out, much like rabbits, they do not like marigolds.
Huh.
Wow. This
Let's-
motherfucker staving off weird bird raptor things like you would the corruption from Terraria by putting fucking sunflowers down or marigolds in this.
But soon these birds started getting bigger, and their teeth started also getting bigger. Though at some point, that big bitch with the short arms tried to steal my curing sausage. The absolute nerve.
Wait, hold on. If I'm
Trying to steal your
following along,
sausage. First it was the Vaporeon.
if I'm following along, creatures are
God
just
damn.
learning how to walk. What? And you're eating fish. What were you curing into sausage?
Don't worry about it.
Vaporeon.
Vaporeon? You
But now-
can't cure a fish into a sausage. That's not how meat works.
But now,
I mean, he was there when meat was made.
you see, that was
He made the meat.
He made meat.
that was
You're
back
the
when that
gayest
weird
motherfucker
fish
out
dog
there.
thing came around. This is slightly forward in time to you might know one as a T-Rex.
Dog.
He tried to steal my sausage.
Wow.
I had my nice
That ain't
curing
the first.
sausage.
Well, I guess it
I had
was
to-
technically the first.
I had to
time.
have it hanging and curing. So, at this point, I got fed up and I used my eldritch powers to pull down a passing meteor because I was
Oh.
tired of these assholes.
And that's how they died.
They were so rude. They were such rude neighbors,
I remember that happening.
breaking my windows, my fences,
My-
and eating my food out of my fridge.
My great times 1 billion
So
grandpa.
hold on, Grandpa. If I'm getting this right, you're saying that fish evolved into dinosaurs, and you were trying to kill the fish while they were evolving into dinosaurs.
I was trying to keep them at bay, but it failed.
And then you were the sole reason evolution got shunted back millions of years.
Yeah, because they kept eating my sausage.
Look, okay, in all fairness, I kind of get Grandpa here. Like, too would, like, Wii Remote drag a meteor down to get rid of some
They were
annoying
breaking my
pests.
windows, my fences, and eating all the food out of my fridge.
You said eldritch powers. Eldritch just means, like, old and strange.
Well, it
Yeah.
is. That makes sense,
is
because
old
he's
and
also
strange
old
powers.
and strange. And they
Fair.
are powers.
What color are they?
You
Fantastic
have
colors that no one has ever seen
You know,
before.
Spence, you strike me as a purple kind of guy. Like, your Eldritch powers, when you evoke them, you get, like, a purple aura. You don't
Dude.
strike me as a green.
He's like the sea spawn in Darkest Dungeon.
Dude! Reference. I feel that. Spence, what color
So-
was your ancient power?
It was
Or
a
did color exist yet? I don't fucking know.
color existed.
Yeah, but you didn't have the term for it.
Oh no, it was purple.
Oh, it was purple?
It was purple.
I fucking knew it. I'm a
And it-
mind reader.
and it
Homie
wa-
plays mono black.
Yeah.
Minus 10 aura.
Minus
Strictly.
more billion aura.
Now, the only downside of what some people would call an unreasonable and excessive damage on a global scale was that my house was just completely destroyed. And not to mention the Zillow
Wow.
estimate of the land was just completely obliterated.
You should have thought that one through. Zillow existed back then, dude.
Zillow's
So-
pre-Cambrian?
Yeah.
So,
That's why they talked about it in Sonic the Hedgehog. It's just that popular.
so I threw my underwear in a bag and flew somewhere that wasn't on the sea.
So your underwear survived.
Yeah, I had an extra pair of underwear.
How did you fly?
Yeah, but where was the extra pair?
Don't worry about it.
Honestly, I believe him flying more than I believe the underwear surviving the blast. Where was the underwear? The entire fucking planet was basically wiped out except
Maybe
for
he
small
was
rodents and
pre-gaming.
insects.
Maybe he was pre-gaming atomic war and he had a bomb shelter.
So obviously you survived the nuke. So is your like prison wallet like basically a bomb shelter?
No.
If I stuck myself in your prison wallet and a nuke went off,
Never say that again.
would I survive?
Never say that again.
It'll come up at some point. Anyways,
No.
Spence, if I was buried in your asshole
We are not. We're not.
and a
doing
nuke
Okay,
went off
anyway.
3 inches away
Anyway,
from you,
so
I'm just gonna take that as a yes.
um,
Spence makes people immortal.
So I flew somewhere that wasn't on the sea, which once again, thanks to my overuse of my pest control, was becoming a little bit more difficult, seeing that now the once giant island that I lived on began becoming smaller islands.
Wait, your island is Pangea?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. How else is he gonna have all the space for his garden, dude?
I was picturing this like
I was
tiny
picturing
little,
literally
like-
Master Roshi's island.
I was picturing like a tiny
No.
little island.
I
No,
was
his
on-
island is Pangea, the mega
We
continent.
didn't need that detail, okay?
I enjoyed being on the side of the ocean.
How did it feel losing all that land?
It sucked.
Did you ever financially recover from losing ownership?
My brother in Christ, we're here.
Don't worry. So needless to say, no.
Did you ever recover? My brother in Christ, we're recording a podcast.
In a basement.
So, I then landed in what is now Egypt.
Okay. Understood, sir.
While I was there, I hung out with the pharaohs, and they showed me how to finger paint, which was cool.
Okay, hold on. We just skipped like hundreds of thousands of years of human development.
You see,
Millions
if I
of years
Millions.
of evolution.
okay, keep in mind I am giving you the highlights because if we went
The
through
highlights. You got
If
to
we-
see cavemen exist, and you're not even
If we
explaining
went-
like some of the stuff they went through.
if we went through every single memory, we would be here. I think I would run through all of our disk space.
I don't know about that. We
Just-
got a lot.
I'm so
We got
confused.
100
We got
102
102
hours.
hours. I think we could sit here for
The
102
pharaohs
hours.
taught you how to finger paint, but that's like you skipped over the first humans.
Yeah, because they weren't important.
Aw.
I'm giving you the highlight reel here.
So you
Okay,
landed
so the
in
first
Africa.
humans like came to be, right?
Yeah.
But you were already around. Are you human?
I've always been human,
But you're the first human.
technically.
So they're not the first humans.
No.
The second humans.
But yes.
There we go.
Anyway,
Yum, yum, yum.
while I was there, see, they wanted me to use a brush, but I said that was for liberal arts majors.
You used your dick, didn't you?
Wait a minute.
So I showed them this really cool thing about fermenting hops and making beer.
You taught them how to create alcohol.
Dude, they were way into it.
And that's why I'm an alcoholic.
But the thing is, they also took the wheat from the beer and ended up making bread. Dude, they loved crushing a loaf. Okay, I'll stop
yeah,
now.
that's it, Grandpa. After this, I'm
Okay,
putting you.
we're
I'm putting you in a
at the
retirement
senior
home. Fucking intertwined thoughts.
I mean, we are twins.
we are twins.
So
Which one's a mistake again?
That'd be me, and no, I'm an accident.
Sorry, wait. Am I a mistake and you're an accident?
No, you're the
No,
one
I'm
they planned
6.
for.
I'm 6 still.
Who's on second?
I don't know.
Well, Spence was the first human. Hey, did you meet the second human? Like, did you chill with him?
No,
I know
after
we're in
blowing
Egypt
the
and you
world
taught
up,
them.
he flew to Africa, and then the pharaoh taught him how to finger paint.
You
he
said
just took...
Africa first off, and also he's skipping over the second human.
Africa's the continent Egypt's on. I will
Yes,
confidently state that.
yes.
He took
that is
millions
true.
of years to fly from shattered Pangaea into Africa, where he landed in Egypt, met the pharaoh, and taught the pharaoh how to make beer because the pharaoh taught him how to finger paint.
Yeah, so me teaching him how to make beer led to the very first kegger, and also the very first keg stand.
Be careful using that word.
The very first keg stand.
Yep, the Pharaoh was the first keg stand.
Wild.
I know, it was a wild party. They knew how to party.
Ancient Egypt really never struck me as a frat, but I guess
I don't know. I feel like their kind of vibe would be a bit dry.
Anyway,
I thought Grandpa would find that funny.
so they had this whole building project going on, which I was all for. They just wanted to build some basic ass triangles out in the desert.
I'm building blocks and shit
But
'cause I'm in fucking Minecraft.
I convinced them that they should have some sort of Sphinx building, which would really bring in the tourists. Which at the time they didn't understand, so I just said trade machine go burr, and they liked the idea of that.
Wow, that's all you said, and
Yeah.
they understood.
Wait,
Yeah.
so the
That's
Sphinx was
crazy.
your idea. Where do you get the idea of the Sphinx from?
You see, I already knew the
Is
Sphinx
she your
was there.
second ex-wife after Victoria?
How many exes do you have, Grandpa?
I don't have any exes.
Is it because they're all dead?
No.
What? You literally you have an
Anyway.
ex Vaporeon dog thing,
No.
and then you have an ex Sphinx.
No. Both are incorrect.
On a Sphinx, is the pussy on the human part?
Nope,
or
nope,
the-
nope, nope, nope,
Okay,
nope.
no.
Grandpa,
Moving
you
on.
bred with
Anyway.
The Sphinx was your idea. Where do you get the idea from?
I had the idea because I saw it in a travel magazine.
Motherfucker looked at ancient hieroglyphs
My
and was
nose
like,
is
"Yep."
bleeding.
He was like, "Yep, I'm here." Yeah, that's the right spot.
So
Homie constructed his own tourist traps.
yeah. So I hung
How
around.
do you top a Sphinx?
Anyway, I hung around them for.
Whipped cream preferably.
I hung around with them for a few hundred years as I helped them build their pyramids with my telepathic powers. After that
Right.
was done, I had a hankering for lamb.
Wow. What an
And-
odd, sudden feeling.
Hundreds of years in
Haven't
Egypt.
you-
I'd like
Grandpa,
some
you're
lamb.
so
Haven't you ever
impulsive.
had-
What did you do? Start gambling next?
No,
I'm sure
But-
that comes later.
but I remembered that the best place for lamb was in Mesopotamia. I once
What?
again,
Bro just knew.
yeah,
He hasn't even
I-
been there before. Ah, yes, this place I've never been to.
He's him, just
I am him.
making his own tourist
I'm
traps.
really confused whether or not you're the creator or you're just a fucking unfortunate victim of circumstance.
yes. Anyway,
Like,
I once again,
the line is blurred.
packed my underwear, now gilded by order of
Is
the
it
pharaoh.
the same underwear
Yes.
You
This,
nasty fuck.
It's been
these are-
gilded by the
It's been
pharaoh.
gilded by the pharaoh now.
That's fine, but you've been
And
wearing this shit for like millions of years at this point.
And I set off to Europe's equivalent of the Corn Belt, but inside a giant litter box.
Sounds legit, yeah.
Right.
I eventually settled in a town called Uruk, between two rivers. They had a pretty dope pyramid called a cigarette or something like that.
Euphrates River.
But they said I couldn't go on top of that because something about not being royalty or
Can't
the
be on the cigarette.
high priestess. Also, shout out to Uruk for being so progressive with their controlled substances.
Grandpa tweaking. Can we leave that silence just in?
Yeah.
I like that one.
Anyway, so, but that didn't stop me from getting I'm a dumb tourist feeling on. So I got up there anyway. And let me tell you, the view from the top of the structure, seeing all those planted gardens on top of the big bricked up trapezoid.
Don't call it that. Big bricked up trapezoid.
It just reminded me of the forest I was used to before the big oopsie.
The big oopsie.
Of course.
Care to elaborate, my friend?
That's when he extincted the dinosaurs because they
Yeah,
were
that-
fucking
Oh, I
with his
thought you had
flower
another.
garden.
No, that was the big oopsie.
Do you refer to like the London fires or the Black Plague or
So,
the
like,
Dark
we'll get there,
Ages or
we'll
the
get there.
fall of the Bronze Age as the small oopsies?
Look, there are inconveniences for a man like Grandpa, and then there are problems.
This is only an oopsie. Of course, it was only a matter of time before I got caught. I tried to play it off as
By
I
the
was looking
nines
for
and
the
tweaking.
bathroom. It would be nice if they had signs up, you know.
I think they do.
But
you just can't read them.
but they weren't buying it, so I had to book it the hell out of town. But before I did, I quickly stopped off at my then drinking buddy's Ian Nasir's house.
Hey, I'd like to ask a question.
Yeah.
So, Grandpa.
Yeah.
You have telekinetic powers. You
Yeah.
literally helped the Egyptians build their pyramids.
Yeah.
Why do you have to book it if you could just telekinetically like shove everyone off of the mountains of Mesopotamia?
Because it wasn't a canon event.
He learned to not do that kind of thing after he
don't-
accidentally extincted
I
the
don't-
You were like,
dinosaurs.
"Whoa, that was bad." But you did it after. You did
I
it
don't-
to help.
I don't
the
abuse
Egyptians.
my powers. I use it to help.
Well,
I
you
help.
could have.
I help the process along.
You could have helped yourself by not getting murdered and sacrificed at the fucking tops of Mesopotamia's temples.
So, but anyway, before I left, I had to stop by my drinking buddy's house. His name was Ian Nasir. Who also was skipping town because he landed in some hot water for scamming some guy named Nani. Something about copper.
Not this dude. The text messages.
Anyway, so I got the hell out of Dodge
Lord.
and was able to escape. But
You've done a lot of escaping.
yeah,
You've
I know.
caught the ire of a lot of people.
Yeah. Don't
Why?
worry, they're all dead.
Oh.
Well, I mean,
guess
I would
it's
be
not really an issue if
personally, I would
everyone
be
else around
worried
you's
if
mortal.
anyone from Mesopotamia was still alive, besides me.
Are you mortal, Grandpa?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Oh yeah, that's why I asked.
No.
You're not.
So, after I was able to escape the city,
No.
I made my way north into what nowadays we call the capital of Babylon.
Hmm.
See, while I was there, I got with a bunch of their smart guys, and I dropped some major Core 40 on them.
Okay.
And because they kept asking me questions about triangles and how to calculate them. So we after I dropped the basic Core 40 on them, we hammered out the basics of what is now called trigonometry in the afternoon. See, I wanted to call it triangle math, but they didn't want it.
Wow. Quite the attitude from those people.
What was the thing with the tower there?
Oh, that's actually what I'm about to get into. See, they kept talking.
Splendid.
So their smart guys kept talking about having a dream of scratching the sky and making a landmark so visible they could be seen from kilometers. I really did try to get them on the Imperial system, but they also weren't having that.
Didn't exist yet, motherfucker.
With their understanding of geometry and my Home Depot workshop certificate, we got to work. we drew up plans for this great tower which would touch the heavens. We were about 3/4 of the way done when I was up on top of it,
Conveniently.
observing the progress made. When there were workers yelling, then no one could understand one of them. So, armed with my 2 sessions of Gaelic on Duolingo, I went over to see if I could be of assistance. My boy said, and I quote, "Bro, my hammer got Ohio'd for real on Skibbity."
He
See,
did
I
not,
was
in fact, say that.
I was able to translate the brain rot for the other workers. I said that he had simply lost his hammer and instructed him, "Bruh, grab your mid-pack and bust it down sexual style, my Rizzler with Elriz." He grabbed his pack and left the tower.
Rizzler with Elriz? It's not a Rizzler.
No, it's the opposite of a Rizzler. It's Rizzler with Elriz. Anyway, I'm not a...
Grandpa, your lingo is too young for me.
So he grabbed his pack and left the tower. But things only got worse from there, because it started sounding like a G20 summit. And worst of all, my friend of the longest time, he started speaking French. I had to put him down.
Before the French could even establish themselves, Grandpa was ready.
Death is an alternative. It's a preferable alternative to French.
It was tragic.
Did you start the revolution too, perchance, just to see them struggle?
What?
The French Revolution.
Revolution.
We'll get there.
Oh,
Anyway,
he did. I knew it.
though things only got worse. See, because at this point in time, there were a bunch of invading armies from, say, the Persians, which I hear they have fine rugs, and to the Romans.
Did you get any of the rugs?
No,
Oh.
I did, but
What?
it got destroyed with the townhouse in Rome. Anyway, we'll get to that. And to the Romans by the hand of Alexander the Pretty Should Have Stayed Sober, who also destroyed my tower. He took it down.
Wait, what?
Yeah, he took down the tower.
Alexander the kind of alright destroyed the Tower of Babel?
Mm-hmm.
They were getting ready for another cannon.
He took it
event.
down and was planning on rebuilding it
My brother, what happened to the Bronze Age?
until
It just like happened, dude. Come on. Same thing with
See-
the fucking
see the
second
thing was
human ever.
Alexander wanted to rebuild it for the glory of Rome, but
Rome? Alexander
once-
the Great in Rome?
once again,
It's a lot.
the
Like Grandpa
Alexander that
Cook.
should have stayed sober, he should have stayed sober. So that didn't happen. So by this time I had about enough of constantly getting my bathroom destroyed by the payload, whether it was by the payload of a wayward catapult or a bolt from a ballista.
It was never you, right?
Both did happen. No,
was
it was
never
just my
you.
bathroom. So,
No, I'm
once
talking about your bathroom being destroyed.
no, it wasn't me. So, I once again packed my underwear and moved to
Fuck,
less
those underwear
hostile
stank.
fields.
Those underwear stank. Hey, are you wearing those underwear right now?
No.
Don't- where are they?
He lost them in the Dark Ages.
It was
I'll-
too dark. He couldn't
They're-
find them. This motherfucker needed a flashlight.
They
Don't
weren't
No,
invented yet.
exactly.
Don't- Don't worry, we'll get to the reasoning why I lost my underwear.
We're getting to a lot of things.
Well,
I can't make sense of that.
Have patience. I moved to less hostile fields, right? Which, these were fields outside of Rome. At first, it was a no-brainer, because I could go on, like, the Mediterranean diet and lose some of the pounds from all the lamb stew I've been having. Also, side note, fat-tailed sheep taste amazing, and no, I won't elaborate. I could wear
Not
nothing...
surprising coming from you, Gramps.
See, I could also wear nothing but my bed sheet,
Water dog pussy.
and I could wax poetically and ask deep philosophical questions. Philosophical questions.
I mean, you did leave a lot of fossils in the ground, so.
I could wax poetically and ask philosophical questions. Like, where do babies come from? And why won't anybody tell me?
Spence, you saw the first one come out.
Thankfully, around this time,
You've been
I-
through 2 divorces.
Okay. Those divorces didn't have any labors of love, so to speak. Considering one was with a water dog from Pokemon, and the second was with
The
what?
Sphinx.
The Sphinx.
Neither one of those are correct, but hey, you do you, boo.
You literally explain them like that.
Anyway, so around this time, I talked my way into being a citizen via the Roman equivalent of the DMV and took advantage of the Tribune's Tiberius decree that distributed land about a half-mile segments and set myself up on a swanky little ranch house. See, I lived there for a while, absolutely delighting the other plebeians with my big brain questions and poetry.
Can you give us some of that poetry?
Did you skip ancient Greece?
He'll get to that.
I wasn't in Greece.
Oh. It would have given him heartburn.
All that- you know,
it would have given
considering-
him heartburn, I guess.
Considering you could fly and have telekinetic powers. Nah, I don't want to go to Greece for all the time it existed.
It was peaceful, but don't get me wrong, there was a lot of stabbing. Like, a lot. See, like, every few years, they were just political opponents getting murked.
Did you murk any?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Oh my god.
No.
Did you
Grandpa.
dabble in the dark arts of politics?
No.
Grandpa,
There-
you went up. It sounds like you went up to these random generations of people and said, "Bask in my glory," and then didn't elaborate further. And then something tragic happened to them.
You're not wrong.
It just keeps happening.
Welcome to history.
God damn it.
History does repeat itself. For the next 100 years, there were in and out of civil wars. Basically, much like a bipolar epileptic changing the color of their computer background. Then came a day, a man known as Caesar, or better known as Kaiser, correctly, started making his presence known when he crucified a whole band of pirates on my front yard.
I mean, did you appreciate the gesture?
No, it stunk.
Oh. Didn't you guys
So-
have, like, those fresh pine trees then, too, or whatever?
No. So have you ever heard the story of Caesar getting kidnapped by pirates?
No.
Tommy has.
He basically
No,
said
you guys know infinite lore.
So as a bit of backstory, Caesar,
Uh-huh.
Julius Caesar, was kidnapped by basically a band of pirates. And instead of being like him stuck in a cage, he was basically on deck with them, making poetry for them. They were joking with him. They were all having a grand old time. This is where they wanted to ransom him back to Rome for 20 talents of silver. And Julius Caesar joked and said, "No, if you want, make it 50 talents."
Damn.
And
Bro upcharged himself.
so they were talking about, like back to the poetry. Julius Caesar would make poetry. They would joke and say how horrible it was. Julius Caesar said he would come back and crucify every single one of them when he comes back. It was a grand old time. So they got
Bro
paid.
just made general death threats to
Yeah.
them.
They got paid.
And then
Caesar
they got
was released.
crucified.
He immediately turned around and crucified every single one of them, as he said.
Well, I mean, at least Bro was transparent about it, you know?
Yeah.
I can respect that. But why didn't you like them? Other than the fact that they stank, it's like, dude, you can be a little bit
Because
more
he made a
reasonable than
promise, and promises kept. Promises made,
that. I'm
promises
talking about
kept.
you enjoying your yard ornaments.
Oh, okay. So,
Other than they stunk.
yeah.
your
So-
Alabama
You had a nice
lawn
ranch home.
gnomes.
You had plenty of, like, acreage.
Well, it was only about half a mile.
Your
A half a
Alabama-
mile, and the fucking stank made it that far.
You'd be surprised.
Hey, you didn't appreciate your Alabama lawn gnomes?
What?
That's terrible. That's not Alabama. That's not Alabama lawn gnomes. We have a few hundred years to go.
Gotcha.
Alabama isn't a thing yet. Hold on.
Yeah, we have to get to Alabama.
Well, you're referring to things that aren't
He might
things.
skip over it. He skipped over a
Don't-
lot of stuff.
Again, if I didn't, we would be here all day.
Like
We're
all of
we're
Greece.
we're still in ancient Rome, and it's been 40 minutes.
I expected this to take a while. How many pages are left, by the way?
We are on
per
page
chance.
2 of 7.
Oh, we'll get
So,
there. We'll get there.
After he crucified the band of pirates, he teamed up with 2 other stooges and created the tribunal, the tributary,
Bless you.
triangle,
You should know about this. You invented trigonometry. I'm
Oh,
a
yeah.
triangle man.
the triumvirate.
In the Tower of Babylon.
Seeing the writing on the wall, which looked like dead pirates on sticks, I decided I was going to move into Rome proper so I could watch the beautiful train wreck that is the death of the Republic from the roof of my villa while snacking on popcorn.
Popcorn doesn't exist.
I snuck a box of Orville Redenbacher in. Shh.
Bro, time travel just to get some fucking popcorn.
Hey,
You would too.
I had a hankering, all right?
No, dude, popcorn's a fucking D tier snack.
You're wrong.
I don't care. We'll talk about this later.
So, the dictator, which is that it's supposedly supposed to be said like that, which is just
Dictator.
Roman speak for just the speaker.
Romans were fruity.
So the dictator for life, Caesar, disappeared for a few years to go boink Cleopatra down in Egypt.
Call me a Roman because I'm feeling fruity.
At this point, I was once again feeling tired of wearing just the bedsheet, which it was great for the first few hundred years, but soon it kind of wears on you. You kind of miss.
It kind of
miss
you
having
were wearing
pants.
it, of course. It's gonna wear on you.
It's not
You're wearing it.
I've never understood why they call that thing a toga. It doesn't even cover your feet.
It's a toga.
Boo.
Is it supposed to dance?
That's a tango, dingus.
I know.
I was
Gangsta
thinking about
till the
moving
bedsheet
again.
starts dancing.
But what tipped me over was the murder of Caesar and the riots and sacks following. See, I was fine with the murder, but the issue was the riots and sacks. My villa was just completely in ruins, and my gilded underwear were gone.
No.
Someone stole my gilded underwear.
You should have crucified them. Did you find out who did it?
Never.
Oh my god, man. Wait, you
So-
can travel through time. Why didn't you go back and figure it out?
Because it wasn't my job
It's
to
not
go
a
back.
canon event.
Why didn't you go back and just get the underwear regilded?
Because
by
it
the
was probably
pharaoh?
best just to leave it. Don't worry, they'll...
Okay. So we're gonna get a lot of that answer for some of the atrocities we're gonna be talking about soon, you know?
Maybe.
Like the one in the 40s.
So,
Which
I-
40s?
The 19 kind, my friend. Man, damn, year 2001 could be real interesting, Spence. I'm just saying. I got a lot of fucking questions for you, you old fucking prune.
Yeah, like what the fuck was the deal with Nickelback?
Okay, hold on. We're getting to that. We're on page 2.
we're still in the death of the Republic.
Let him. We're still in the death of the Republic. All right.
That's topical.
Yeah.
So,
Oh.
well, actually, we're about to end in the death of the Republic. So, after my underwear was stolen and my villa was in ruins, I left Rome. Though I was sad to leave, I vowed one day I would return.
Are you the Pope? Do you come back and become Pope?
Wouldn't you like to know? So here's where things get a little fuzzy.
Oh, do they? It seems like
Yeah.
a lot of things have gotten fuzzy for
What
you.
do you mean things get fuzzy? You
Uh,
were so clear with the
so-
Bronze Age and the evolution of life.
If you let me continue, I'll
Must have
tell you
gotten hit on the
why.
head or something. And
No,
the brain trauma lasted about 1,000 years.
honestly, I spent the next 1,000 years in and out of consciousness.
I fucking knew it.
I decided to do a pub crawl on the Silk Road
Okay.
Oh no.
and got absolutely wasted at each inn, ale house, brewery, and etc. that was on the way.
Can you contract like diseases like
No.
AIDS?
So there was this.
He was in a lot of inns. And
By the
so
way,
was at brothels.
I found this microbrewery called Le Fang's Ale House. It was the absolute best on the Silk Road. It was only about halfway through.
I'll make sure to go there sometime.
You can't go there no more.
I know. Can you
See.
take other people back in time with you?
No.
Okay.
Much like someone trying to remember what they did for the first 2 years of college, it was a bit fuzzy. Much like them, I remember there was a few parties, a trumpet bong, some drunk table dancing, and something about a goat. I don't know. This went on for a
First
while.
it was a dog and now it's
It was a
goat.
hell of a time, though I don't remember much of it.
You spent
Af-
1,000 years getting drunk on the Silk Road.
Yeah.
Can't
It
blame
was
him,
a
bro.
great
Do you
time.
refer to this as your college days?
Honestly, yes. I would
Considering
refer
how
to that
old
as
he
my
is-
college days. After my freshman stupor, I decided to check in with Northern Europe.
Like
So-
you do.
Typical Tuesday activity.
I come back and see my once beloved Rome has spread almost to each corner of Europe and then receded once again back to Italy and was now called the Holy Roman Empire because now they decided to be holy. I heard
It sounds
There
like
was
you
a-
have something to say, Tommy.
I'm just
Would you
having
like
a
to
bit of an
interject?
aneurysm. Because the Holy Roman Empire is neither holy nor Roman nor an empire.
it was great. Unfortunately, while I was passed out on the table, the Viking Age had come and went, so I never got to see that.
It's very like the Vikings to come and go.
Yeah.
Gag.
So the new kid on the block was the Byzantine Empire. Apparently, you missed a lot when you're sloshed.
Maybe a little.
See,
Only a spoonful. That's the last words you said before you
I-
hit the Silk Road. And now you motherfucker missing
Wait, you're the
H's.
reason people invented alcohol. Homie, you played yourself.
hey, I mean, you're right, but man,
You invented alcohol, and then you became addicted to it for literal ages.
I invented alcohol and alcohol poisoning at the same time. I unfortunately had to make my way into France. I know, I didn't want to.
Wait, why?
Because
Just like, why did you go to France?
I had been hearing stories from the Norsemen
Missed the
About-
Viking Age.
about a
Goes
man.
to France intentionally.
That's the least
I-
paced tourist trip through history I've heard of in a
That's-
long time.
Grandpa, I didn't know you were cringe.
I heard of a man named Leif Erikson, and he had
Wow.
discovered a new land called Vinland. Intrigued, I moved north to find this man. But
Bro went to France to learn about one guy and then left right away.
Hey, I
Based
wasn't-
response,
I wasn't
Grandpa.
I
That's
wasn't
what
taking
give
my
me some.
time in
Did-
France.
Did you plant the seeds of the French Revolution before you left?
No, he's
No.
gonna come back.
Oh, all right.
See, I'm May, so
I may. No,
You're talking about it like it's a Burger King you really don't want to go to. I may return.
so I s-
he's gonna go back and do another one.
They say the reboot is always worse than the original.
Let's make this one better.
What is this? French Revolution 5?
no, but as on my way north, I stopped on the Isle of Iona, which is now Scotland, and picked up a book from some monks in a town called Kells.
How many people in Scotland are named Scott? Just
None.
oh.
You'd be surprised.
Was the book you found in Kells a secret?
No, but it was very beautiful, and I couldn't pass it up. I kept that book, and I'm gonna jump ahead here a little bit.
Yep.
See, I held onto that book for probably about 600 years
Casually.
until I gave it to Trinity College in 1661.
Wait,
See, this book.
Also, we just casually jumped over
Don't
all
worry,
of
it's
Christianity.
well, this
He's
is
coming
just
back.
this is just a
Jesus.
temporary time skip.
Okay,
So-
we're going back.
This-
we're already post Jesus.
This book was indeed the Book of Kells.
Oh, okay.
But I gave it to them to hold on to since most of the history of that area had been long gone. See, I got a bit sidetracked in Hibernia, i.e. Ireland, and Iona, i.e. Scotland, for a few hundred years because I knew that their history had been non-existent. So I took every single story and collected all the history and tales from the islands I could get, and I had the brilliant idea to store them on an HDD disc.
That you had in
Yeah, I had.
661.
Yeah.
That's
Uh,
crazy.
By the way,
It
the
really shows its age.
the hard drive didn't survive.
Wow. I'm not surprised.
All those years wasted. I really had some good stories too.
Did you have some goon material on there?
Maybe.
I'm surprised you did not respond with, what did you like to know? Yes, I would, Grandpa. Show me all your gooner material.
So
you don't want to see it. It's mostly Sphinx and
Vaporeons
That's
and
disturbing.
Sphinxes.
and still no.
Still, yes, it's
No.
canon. He
See,
said it.
at this point, I threw that damn dog thing back into the water.
Yeah,
How
after
is that?
you fucking bred it
No.
and put a ring on it because you lacked it.
No.
They kept coming back.
Incorrect.
You said they kept coming back. And
Yeah,
you kept,
because they
you
kept trying to get
coming
on
back in
land.
them.
you kept coming on their back.
You
Anyway.
kept breaking their backs.
Anyway, this was
Well,
at,
that shit broke back island.
this was the point that I remembered.
Pangea? Nah, I prefer
Bangea.
Brokeback Island.
I'm sorry, Grandpa.
Anyway,
Please continue.
this was the time that I had remembered about Leif Erikson, and unfortunately by this time he was already dead as hell.
Why not just resurrect him?
It was also at this time that I remembered that I wasn't needed in America till the 1600s. So, I just continued gallivanting through medieval Europe.
You said we'd go back to the birth of Christ.
My
Now we're in the 1600s.
See, my
Bro
until
was not there for that.
I wasn't needed until the 1600s. So, in the meantime, I busied myself by pranking noble people. See, there was this one nobleman, and I convinced him that his shoes weren't long enough. See, he was trying to get this girl from a different court, and I told him that he needs his shoes, like, super long. Like, to the point that he has to tie them to his knee. At first, this was just a prank. Like, haha, gotcha, gotcha ass. Unfortunately, this got extremely popular with court and nobles, and these became what is now called Krakau's.
Bless you.
Really,
that sounds
really,
like a slur.
really stupid
Oh!
long ass shoes, kind of like elf shoes, but like worse because they were longer.
That's what those bird raptor things were saying right as they broke your
See-
windows. Caw.
See, it was also around this time that the Crusades started, and Indiana
Casually.
Jones lied to me. There were no people of the man with the funny mustache to Merc, and no tanks in the desert. I felt
Okay, ugh.
completely lied to.
They went back. It was their crusade. The Crusades have nothing to do
See-
with their crusade.
See, but yeah,
A crusade is a thing that can occur outside of the time a bunch of them were happening. It's like, sure, fucking Gandalf and the hobbits went on an adventure, but that doesn't mean whenever I go on my own adventure, that means I'm Gandalf and I have a bunch of hobbits at my side. Motherfucker, you can have a crusade and it not have to relate to the crusades of medieval Europe.
Or
See,
the Crusades
I-
of Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
at this point in
Was there a
time,
cum chalice?
no.
Why not?
My disappointment was immeasurable,
And your day was
and my
ruined.
day was
Do
ruined.
you have any personal insights on the happenings of the Crusades?
No, because I didn't go on them. I made it to Germany and got disheartened when they told me that there wasn't anyone to Merc.
Why did those traps stay operable for so long? It's like Indiana Jones went in there, and like everything still worked to a T.
Spence, were you the man doing upkeep on the Indiana Jones dungeons?
Hey man,
I
you can
was-
do a lot with WD-40, all right?
God damn, I forgot you can time travel.
I bet you could do a lot with WD-40 in the
See-
year fucking 1000 BC.
What inspired you? The fucking Vaporeon's pussy or
My
the jelly in
The
there?
short circuit. Please stop talking.
I gotta keep bringing it up, dude. I'm so sorry.
So, with my disappointment currently,
Currently in
immeasurable.
us. I'm sorry, Grandpa.
uh,
I have.
it
a
only
mortgage.
got worse because I had to go through France again
God damn
to
it.
come back.
You know, you can fly. You literally can go around France.
You see,
French airspace is worse than the people somehow.
You
Yeah.
can just fly around the border.
it smells
Clearly,
worse.
you weren't in a rush anywhere. You fucking fell asleep for literally a millennium.
No,
No, I
You
was
were
drunk for a
crawl for
millennium.
that long.
Drunkenly dragged yourself across the Silk Road for literally 1,000 years.
Yeah, it was great.
He's got a lot of catching up to do.
Clearly.
So, as I was going through France, unfortunately, I was stuck in the middle of a war and a plague.
Silly
See,
things.
the war was the 100 Years' War between France and England because England had to proverbially cut down the bush obscuring its view in France's front lawn.
They had to cut down the proverbial bush.
And this came to a head when this badass warrior chick, you might know her as Joan of Arc, even though she was from France, I know.
No, I always thought she was from Arkansas.
No.
Because Ark was short for Arkansas.
Joan of Arkansas.
You know, there is probably a Joanne in Arkansas, and they're technically a Joanne of Arc.
We could go find Joan of Arc.
Guys out there, if you're listening, type in the comments if your name is Joan and you are from Arkansas. That would be epic. We will send you, I don't know. What should we send Joan of Arkansas?
A thumbs up.
Cross-dressing for dummies.
We will get Spence in a femboy maid outfit, and we will send you the picture privately.
No. I'm vetoing
Yes,
that.
this is a promise
No, this
made by
isn't.
the Complimentary Mania podcast.
This is... Complimentary Mania does not
You didn't even say it
approve
right.
or
Tommy,
condone
whose side are
this
you
lottery.
taking? I can be your Adam. Just eat my
Anyway, with
fucking
that-
apple.
Shut the hell your mouth.
With that null and void.
So Joanne of Arkansas.
Joanne of Arkansas came to England's footholds in France and basically demanded their lunch money. On top of this,
Broke bitch.
there was a lot of dead people in France, but not by stabbing this time.
This time.
Oh, did they have the guillotines?
No.
Oh.
not yet.
Dude, that's my favorite Death Grip song.
See-
it goes, guillotine.
See, the plague had took over a third of the population of Europe. See, I never had issues with this because my mother always told me to wash behind my ears, or the Black Death would get you while you sleep.
Is that why Mom's dead?
Spence, you have a
Anyway.
mother? I thought you've always
Anyway,
existed.
shortly after the
He
death and
adopted
war had
one.
finished, for about 15 minutes, there was EGATS, another succession crisis in England. At the time, at the end of this war here, the 100 Years' War, the Lancasters and Yorks in Europe took to stabbing each other, much like the Capulets and Montagues.
Gesundheit.
Familiar, right?
Bless you.
At this point, in
Sometimes you just get bored.
at this point in time, I had been working
You
in the
have to fill the void
background,
by opening another.
much like the friar in Romeo and Juliet.
Me and the homies when we get bored and start a war with a neighboring country.
Hey man, you gotta do.
Let's drop Fortnite.
You gotta do what you gotta do. See, I've been working in the background, trying to redirect the progress of time back to the sacred timeline. See, I didn't have much time to myself during this era. There was always someone to make sure that they made their mistakes, or someone to miraculously heal. And also, it's amazing how far a travel-sized bottle of emergency comes in.
Hey, I don't think this is entirely out of order, but Rasputin, did you ever get to meet him?
No.
That's in the like.
I know
I
it's
wasn't-
later, but I just want to know because it's
I
like
was-
on the mind.
I wasn't in Russia at this time.
Oh,
I know, but
it's,
like,
way
later when he came around.
No. Not. I wasn't in Russia at the time of Rasputin. No.
Okay. I just wanted
Did you
to
ever
ask.
go to Russia?
Oddly, no.
Oh,
Never did.
Why not?
Because
It seems scenic. a
somehow
little cold, but
somehow it's more cringe than France.
yeah, you decided to go through France like 3 fucking times.
it was never to go to France. It was to go somewhere
you
that
could
France
fly around
bordered.
it, dude. You. Oh my god.
Anyway,
Dude, you can summon meteorites. Why? Explain to me why France still
You could
exists.
literally time travel. If I
because
was
I
you,
enjoy the traveling.
Spence, if I was you, I would time travel back in time to when France didn't exist, travel through where France once was, and then travel back into the future. And then I just didn't have to walk through France.
See, at this time, I've been doing a lot of flying and a lot of.
Oh, you were tired after
I
your 1,000
enjoyed
year
the walk.
slog.
I enjoyed hiking at this time.
I suppose omnipotence gets tiresome.
But yeah, it's amazing how far the travel-sized bottle of emergency and some triple antibiotic can go. I finally got caught up and steered the helm back on track, and finally got to get back to the things that matter in life, like being a tourist. I've So it was about this time that I went on my grand tour of Europe, and
Grand Tour, Mrs. Russia.
it was roughly around 1475 right now at this time, and I found myself in Florence, right in the golden age of the Renaissance. See, this was wild in Florence because every other person you bumped into on the street was some sort of philosopher, artist, or sculptor. Though at the time, I began relapsing from my days on the Silk Road and
Relapsing.
may have hit the wine bottle a little too hard, according to the authorities.
How
So,
the fuck did you get a DUI in ancient Florence?
hey man,
Look,
Floridian wine goes hard.
the invisible Dodge Charger goes hard as fuck.
So, I got it into my mind while I was in that cell that I wanted to go and meet all the Ninja Turtles.
I'm gonna lose my mind. I gotta push the mic up so I can rest my weary head.
See, so I used my Eldritch powers once again to phase through the wall, half drunk with pants full of determination.
Really? Oh, of course. You're thinking about fucking some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You're a fucking... I can't say that word on here.
PDF.
He's EDP445, but if he was real.
At first, I went and saw Michelangelo.
Oh my god.
See, I kept asking him questions about his fresco, and I promptly got kicked out of the Sistine Chapel when I said it looked ugly. Leonardo banned me from his workshop after I critiqued his horse chariot design.
Why are you so
okay.
critical?
It was
You're not-
ugly. And not to mention, like, completely, it would never work. Have you seen that design? It's got, like, 4 fucking sickles in front of the horse's face. If its head goes down, it's losing its nose.
Look, I never said it would work. It's just...
I know. That's what I said, too. But he didn't like the criticism, so he just told me to get out.
Did the other two say that as well?
So, see, the thing was, Donatello, he was really the only one I ever got along with. He also became a drinking buddy of mine. Though, we didn't get to go out that often because he was a very busy man. He had too many commissions. He was always up at, like, midnight doing shit. And finally, Raphael. See, he wanted my head on a pike after I
Not
may...
the first.
After I may or may not have painted googly eyes all over the people in his School of Art of Athens mural in the Vatican.
How do you paint googly eyes?
He
Well,
has awesome fucking eldritch powers, dude. I'm sure he can make the art Google a little.
It was googly eyes as in like just like one eye pointing that way, one eye pointing that way, and I just did that for every single person. It looked fantastic.
So you made them all cross-eyed.
No, I made their eye like looking left and then another eye looking
You made
right
them the
down.
opposite of cross-eyed.
Yeah.
Uncross-eyed.
And it was great. So, but he didn't like that, and neither did the Papal State. So, though at this point in time my goal had been achieved, and there was one more life I had to make difficult. See, there was a man named Dante.
I am the storm that is approaching.
No,
No.
that's his brother's song.
Oh, my bad.
He also wanted me dead because I kept convincing people he was a demon.
Oh, that'll do it.
Because, I mean, by his own account, he had been to hell and back. I was like, hey, demon.
My family
And the
crest
thing is,
a demon of death.
Peasants of the 1400s are so gullible. It was so funny.
Did you ever get them with the, hey, your pocket's on the ground
Yeah.
thing?
I said, hey,
how
your shoe's
many-
untied.
How many witch
Maybe
burnings?
barefoot.
How many witch burnings do you think you accidentally started?
A lot.
Probably a few too many. See,
Look,
so
you literally murdered every bit of life on Earth at one point. I think this is
not
quite
every
tame.
bit of life.
Okay, 95% of
No,
it.
it was just the big dumb lizards
Yes,
that kept
95%
stealing
of
my
it.
sausage.
Only the hardiest of insects and rodents survived that.
See,
No, a few dinosaurs survived. That's how we get things like alligators.
Yeah, like the water ones.
Yeah.
The ones that
It
could
was-
submerge themselves deep enough to survive the tremendous impact caused by you, Master
the
Roshi.
ones that didn't draw my ire did survive.
This motherfucker out here cosplaying as Radon.
But anyway, see, at this point in time, I had been labeled as a public menace by the artists of
Wow.
Italy.
Really?
Yeah.
Imagine.
And
You skipped the Knights of the Round Table. I really wanted to know if King Arthur was a bunch
He
of
wasn't
bollocks
there.
or not.
He kept
I
going through France
wasn't
because
there.
he
I was
felt
half
like it.
drunk in France and Italy.
You literally, oh my god, you're an omnipotent being that could travel time, and you chose to be in France for like way too long.
So
Why?
I had to.
You can see the future.
I,
Chose to be in
I didn't choose to be in France. I got stuck in France once and then had to travel through it twice. Not by choice.
Everything's by choice when you can fly in time travel.
Anyway,
It's a
So-
canon event.
it is.
France is eternal.
See,
I like to imagine he went to France and there's like fog barriers around the border.
you have to traverse the frog.
You can
traverse through the mid.
You must complete the main story before you can enter the zone. He had to finish France.
But he got to skip Russia. Dude, what was Genghis Khan up to? You were getting drunk on the Silk Road the entire time the Mongolian steppe was conquering Asia.
Did you encounter any gay black samurai perchance?
No, that's in Japan.
Did you ever go to Japan?
No,
I was trying to...
I ain't into that weeb shit.
I could make another Vaporeon joke, but I will
You
abstain.
should do it. It's your turn. I've done enough. I'm at my limit.
At this point in time, I had to leave the beautiful countryside of what is now just Italy.
Just Italy.
Meh.
No modifiers.
No modifiers. See,
Base.
it was beautiful at one point. Now it's just Italy. I had moved north at this time
Why do you keep going north?
because it's nice and I could get a nice 3-story townhouse.
Did you go through France?
No, this time I skipped over France
Why didn't you do that the first few times?
because I got bored of it now.
Wow.
Anyway,
I'm losing my mind.
I was out on the
That
veranda.
makes sense.
I was out on the veranda of my 3-story townhouse when I saw a man below me sitting under one of my orange trees. See, he would take turns contemplating, sitting there looking, and then writing something in his book. At this point in time, I had been staying in England, unfortunately. And I recognized this man as a man named Isaac,
You dropped the apple on his head.
a self-proclaimed big brain. Well, I don't like vagabonds around my precious fruit trees, so I threw an apple I had left over from lunch at him. And I absolutely beamed him on the head.
Discovered gravity.
And he sat there for a second staring at the apple with like a, oh. And he yelled something about, that's it, and jumped up and ran away.
Wait,
See,
hold
I-
on. He was sitting under one of your orange trees.
Yeah.
And you literally
And I beamed him with an apple.
He was sitting. Okay, so you threw an apple. Did you just have an apple on standby? Did you have apple trees too?
it was left
No,
over
it was
from
left
his
over from lunch.
Oh my bad. Look, dude, you
See,
got
I
me
did-
all strung out.
At this point in time, it was
Think
kind of
about how he feels. He lived through all
it was
that.
kind of funny because he didn't put 2 and 2 together that he was under an orange tree and he got an apple thrown at him.
I mean, maybe he did. Maybe that's where we get the apples to oranges thing.
Dude.
Ah,
No.
gag. So he then ran away. He later that year published his thesis on gravity and the laws of motion.
Do you feel robbed?
No, I absolutely fucking beamed him and I loved it.
He became
he can
like successful because of it.
yeah.
You did him a favor.
Yeah, I know. I like working in the background versus being in the spotlight. It draws too many people's attention.
Is working
you-
in the background what you were doing when you were getting drunk for a literal millennia on the Silk
Or,
Road?
Maybe.
literally helping build not only the pyramids, but the Tower of Babylon.
You see, as long as you're working in the background, people don't tend to paint your face or print your face, so it's easier to hide through the millennias.
You got Egyptians to make sphinxes.
Yeah, and
That's some furry behavior. That's all I'm gonna say on that.
Freaky, yeah. Must have been instilled by that weird water dog. It all goes back.
Trevor, why are you so persistent and interested in the water dog, huh? Why are you wanting to hear so much about the water dog? Why do you want to hear about Vaporeon's pussy?
Because you're the one.
Go on.
You're
Go on,
the
say
one
it.
that defaced it.
No,
I wanted
You-
to hear about your marriage.
I was never married to
You
the water
were.
dog. And
You liked
also,
it and
this
you put
ain't.
a ring on it.
I can't. It's like talking to a brick wall. It's not that kind of water dog. There's no such thing as Pokemon.
I mean, there could
He
be.
did
Homie
whatever-
never went to Japan.
He selected like 5 places to go and literally lived through everything. Was like, nah, I'm gonna keep going to France.
See, again, I was
Imagine
I was a
witnessing
tourist.
the Big Bang and deciding to go to France.
You had that TikTok ADHD attention type shit before it was even a thing.
I don't know what you're talking about. These are hundreds of years. Now, yes, again, I am just bringing
You were literally
through.
born before the Big Bang. I don't even know if you were born. You said you don't have a beginning.
Yeah, like I said, I'm giving you the highlight reel.
What came first, the chicken or the egg?
So, believe it or not, the chicken came first.
Huh.
Which came first, Spence or the Vaporeon?
My money's on Child Protective Services.
They came! Freaky yeah!
All right, Spence, what happened next?
I'm sorry.
Not-
Not enough,
not a
but
l-
I'm sorry.
Not a while later, I had been taking a holiday.
A
I was-
holiday from what? Every day is a holiday. I don't think
You
you
keep
had a
going
job.
on vacation.
Your
Yes, because
every
I was
day's a
I was
vacation.
stressed. I needed a time to unwind.
Stressed.
I was-
You were busy beaming people with produce because they were being vagabonds and like
You were making
trespassing.
apples out of oranges.
You're making a chicken out of a feather. No, I was on a beach in what would now be Monte Carlo on vacation, chilling, when I suddenly remembered what I was waiting for. I had instantly booked a flight on my private jet
flight.
and
Private
headed
jet?
across the pond to America. I
Wow.
completely forgot that I was needed over there.
And what
You had
year
a
was
booking?
this?
Yeah, I had to book a seat on my private jet, but it was all right.
Was this in like 1776?
1675, actually.
I mean,
So-
I assumed you were like late to the party and you were just getting there like after
Yeah,
things got figured out. But
it-
I guess
it,
you were that late.
At this point in time, the Americas were actually just the colonies. See, I got there and I landed in Boston, which besides the main streets and a few exceptions, it's nothing but dirt roads, which makes landing extremely difficult.
I would assume.
How did the locals react to the private jet?
Oh, they didn't see it.
Was the private jet like the one they made in Madagascar, Escape to Africa?
No, it was a jet.
Like an
It was-
actual like
It was how I
luxury
flew.
jet.
It was how I flew from my house into Egypt.
You just said you flew with your eldritch powers.
No, I said
your
I used
eldritch
I
powers
said
is
I
a
used
jet.
my eldritch powers to bring down the meteor, and then I flew to Egypt.
I'm losing my mind.
Hi, losing my mind. I'm Tommy.
Good. Look,
See,
you're
there-
about as inconsistent as a Marvel character.
There are many benefits to being an eldritch being. One is having priority seating on jet airliners.
Who was the pilot?
Me.
How did you know how to fly?
You get priority seating on your own jet? Wow, what
Yeah.
a flex.
Was anyone else on there?
No, it's just me.
What's the fucking point, man? I'm losing it. You can fly on your own.
Yeah.
Even if you can't, you can time travel. So you could just
So-
time travel
so
to where
you-
the Earth is in the right
Oh my
position for you
God.
to reappear.
So Spence, you ripped a private jet from the future
Yeah.
just to fly.
Yeah.
Why couldn't
See-
Why couldn't you travel back in time to when Pangea was a thing, and go to where America was going to be, and then snap back to where you wanted to be in time?
Because
Then you
that's
would
not
just
how
be-
time travel works.
Oh my God.
I would have been left in the vacuum of space.
Anyway, so you flew to, so you hopped on Wonder Woman's invisible jet.
It wasn't
Flew to
invisible.
Boston. It was invisible because no one saw it. It's the tree in the woods thing.
Schrodinger's plane.
You hopped on your buddy Schrodinger's plane, and you landed
meet
in
him?
Boston.
No.
You fucking lame.
But
Who the fuck goes to France twice, becomes roommates with H.P.
I
Lovecraft?
was joking
and-
about the retirement home thing. I'm actually putting you in there now because I feel like you need to go. Oh my God.
When you're around for a long enough period, you got to make things interesting. So if I went flying everywhere, it would stop being interesting.
Right.
So
Right, so you just flew there.
so I flew there in different ways. This one I took the jet.
Okay. Via Schrodinger's quantum jet, you made it to Boston in the 1600s. What are you doing?
I really wanted some clam chowder.
Wow. So you
Manhattan or New England?
you
Boston.
flew your fucking invisible plane so you could get some goddamn clam chowder.
See, but the thing is, in my haste to get there, I forgot that it wouldn't be invented for another 50 years.
So what? Did you conk out on the road drunk?
No. I had to stave off that hankering with some oysters from the local oyster saloon. They were pretty big back then.
Splendid. I'm glad you got your fill, dude.
I knew for the time being, I had to bide my time until the thing.
The thing.
Yeah, the thing.
Which thing?
Well, the tea party.
Anyway, I set myself up as a
This man is
silversmith
so
in the
big.
heart of Boston to pass away the time. You gotta have a hobby, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Oh my God, I've seen SAT questions that are less vague than you. Holy fucking shit.
what?
Maybe.
What do you...
What did you like to know?
You,
Oysters.
you became a silversmith
Yeah.
in Boston.
Yeah.
I wonder if this is like another silversmith in Boston.
Actually, I never met the guy.
Which guy?
You know which one I'm talking about.
I don't.
Yeah,
Would
you
you,
do.
I
would you
also
say?
don't.
Would you say, for the benefit of Trevor and the audience, which silversmith from Boston you're talking about?
Paul Revere. Trevor, do you need clarification?
No,
You sure?
absolutely not.
What do you have questions on?
Nothing.
So,
You know,
Trevor,
like
I don't
you know,
have
like
I
those
don't
early
have the power
2000
of time
vehicles?
travel.
You know, like those early 2000s vehicles, like a Mitsubishi Eclipse.
Yeah.
Like when you get all the fucking moisture on the inside of the goddamn housing for the headlights, and it starts to just fog it up and eat away at the like clear coat on the inside.
Yeah.
That's how you make me. That's how you make my brain feel. That's how this episode has made my brain feel. It's like my brain is oxidizing
So
from the mysterious, vague information you're pouring across it.
So Trevor, I don't have the power of time travel.
You said you did at the start.
When?
And also halfway through.
When did I say I had time travel?
Many times.
No, I
This is
haven't.
why I'm saying this is later.
I
This
have
is
only-
the last episode Spence is in.
I have never had time travel.
Well, at least here. Then we'll be recording in the nursing home.
I have only
we're
ever
not kicking
stated
him
that
off.
I have the
It's
power
just-
of flight and telekinesis.
No, you have eldritch powers.
Yes, but that doesn't include time travel.
Spence, just take us through Boston.
Paul Revere, silversmith. You never met the guy, but you might You may or may
I'm
not
a
be
fucking
him.
idiot. I'm sorry. I don't know about Paul Revere. He sounds like just some fucking dude.
He's the guy who said the redcoats are coming, but
the
he really
British
said
are
the
coming.
British
Oh,
are
never
coming.
mind. It all comes back to me.
Yeah.
5th grade history class. Look, dude, we got taught that, and then it never came up again, and it makes me kind of sad.
He was kind of a mid-silversmith, actually.
Fucking you're mid.
I mean, yeah, but that's beside the point.
My brother in Christmas. You were fucking on the Silk Road for 1,000 years.
Yeah,
The Pharaoh gilded your underwear.
yeah.
Everyone's gonna seem like a mid-silversmith to you.
He could have been the best one.
I mean, it was all right.
And he would have been like, eh.
It was all right.
Okay, what about it?
What happened in Boston? Please hit play on the story.
Where are we? What page are we on?
We are on...
4 out of 7.
No, we're at 5 of 7.
Okay, we got this.
Wow.
So,
I'm not trying to rush you, by the way. It's great. It's just, I'm not sure I'm going to make it home tonight.
Yeah, you are.
I might go on a 1,000-year drinking binge and lose myself across an Asian fucking stretch of land.
You know who you'll bump into if you do that?
Who?
You know him. He's the one who drinks.
We do not speak of his name. The forbidden one. Those who know.
the forbidden drinking man. There was some time to waste between now and the thing.
Stop calling it the thing!
No, I get it. He's talking about the Fantastic Four. He obviously meets Stan Lee and gives him, like...
He didn't meet... We were talking about Christmas, and this motherfucker never even saw Jesus.
I mean, he was vaguely in the neighborhood.
He was he was in France.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Fine. Please,
He had time to kill. He had time to
I
kill
told
in Boston.
you 2 pages.
He had time to kill in Boston either Stan Lee's The Thing or The Thing from the movie The Thing is gonna show up.
Do they have comic books at the stores in 1675?
No.
Keep going.
There became some slight unrest in time. Around 1770, just outside my shop. So I heard a crowd harassing some British guard at the customs house in the center of the square. And this promptly got out of hand, which I was all for. See, I started handing out oyster shells for nefarious reasons. Any reason is good enough to bully a British person. Later on...
Oh, hold on. This makes sense from a, like, American colonialist perspective. But, like, weren't you there when, like, the magic was written or whatever?
You're a
Like,
transient being of time and space.
how do you dislike the British? What did the British do to you
have
personally?
The British
every
don't
human ever
exist.
existence, you were like, British
What do you mean
people.
the British don't exist?
The British don't exist.
You saw them exist. Oh my god.
You mean they don't exist? You just said you like to
Can we
pick
get to
on
the
them.
part where aspirin exists? Because I need some.
He'll use his eldritch powers to cure your headache.
See,
He couldn't cure the Black Plague. He explained he was there when it happened.
He didn't want to cure it. He wanted to give people an emergency and aspirin.
Your morals change by the century, my friend.
it all depends on the situation.
So you're fine with people picking on British people because, and I quote, they don't exist.
You are the definition of true neutral. You just fucking feel however you feel, dude.
Yeah.
My brother in Chipotle. It's not true neutral. It's chaotic.
I bet you probably have a fucking wristwatch, and on it is a colorful spin dial, like from Wheel of Fortune, and you flick it, and you decide what action you're gonna partake in today. Like, oh, I guess I'm gonna hate the natives today.
I mean,
oh, I landed in the square where I have to do a good thing.
no, that's him when he has to go to
See-
France. And he lost that watch sometime during the Silk
After
Road
the third
binge.
time he went to France, he was like, this shit sucks, and he threw away that watch. You
You see-
should have just blacked out the France square. Or wedge or whatever, dude.
You see, history is fickle.
You're fickle,
Yes, but that's beside the point.
old man.
Anywho,
How fickle you.
I was 6 an hour ago.
Now you have a mortgage.
I have a mortgage.
So history's fickle.
yeah. Even after the bullying the British person, the British still weren't leaving, and we had to go on the offensive.
This doesn't need to bully British people. Why?
Because they don't exist.
Because they don't exist.
Whatever. I need to get over it. Keep going. You had to take the offensive because they were not having it.
But not
even though they don't exist.
Okay, old man.
But it wasn't offensive. It was offensive. I wanted to offend any British sympathizer within a 12-mile radius.
Why
So-
12 miles?
Because that was a nice round measure.
Okay.
Anyway, I gave a group of men the idea, and they ran with it.
It's the origin of a foot, right? Because, 12 miles from 12 inches in a foot, he's the guy, he's the reason. He picked 12 because it's a round number, and now 12 is relevant.
See,
Spence, were you the guy that got his feet measured for the foot?
I don't know.
Dude, are your feet exactly 12?
You were drunk
No.
and unconscious for a long while.
But
I wouldn't be surprised.
The
They
imperial
saw your gilded underwear.
the imperial measurement
like,
system
"Ooh."
wasn't made at this time, so no,
They were working on it.
they were working on it.
It was loading.
The
Measurement system loading.
He made the choice.
the so the idea flourished, and the Boston Tea Party was a massive success.
Are you a fan of tea?
No, I hate it.
You don't like a lot of things.
Yeah,
Including the British.
and
They don't exist. Why? How can he not like something that doesn't exist?
soon after this, the British occupied all of Boston. I, being the well-traveled man and knowledgeable man that I am, was summoned to a big meeting of delegates from all over the colonies. I wanted to turn Britain into Doggerland, but that was quickly shot down. And based on my previous big oopsie, that was probably for the best.
It's a good thing you picked Doggerland and not Hoggerland or some bullshit.
H.P. Lovecraft really rubbed off on you so hard.
That's
He was your roommate. You were
Listen.
2 letters away. And I'm glad you could be the bigger man for once.
We ended up trying to negotiate with Britain, which failed miserably. Do you have a question, sir?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
I doubt it.
I doubt you.
Yeah, that's fair.
Sorry, Grandpa.
Which one thing led to another, and
really.
yeah, and the revolution began in Lexington.
That's how things
So
happen, huh?
funny shot here. You know the shot heard around the world.
The bullet that killed Archduke Franz Ferdinand.
That's later.
That's later. The other shot heard around the world.
We're gonna talk about that one.
Would we blow up Bin Laden?
No, I'm talking about the start of the American Revolution. You know, time frames and
There were-
whatnot.
There were 5 big boobs that were
Costco.
Boom! Boom! Boom!
I don't know if we're gonna finish this story. Trevor's losing it.
So this was the first one.
This was the first big boom heard across the world.
Yes, at Lexington. See, it may or may not have happened because I forgot that flintlocks were so finicky, and I accidentally shot a golf ball size hole through a lobster.
A lobster.
Yeah, that's what
Did
British.
he have it coming?
Yeah, that's what British were called, lobsters, because they had the big red jackets.
I thought they didn't exist.
Yes. See, I don't want them to exist.
Oh!
Starting to feel
I
like,
see.
It's feel like I don't exist.
You must be part British.
Imagine getting your ancestry results back. You see you're 0.3% British, and then your left foot dissolves.
Just gets Thanos snapped away.
It You just see dust fly out the window. Oh no.
You know, if your left foot was the 3% of you that's British, I bet you'd dance better after it left.
Oh, jeez.
We got this, Spence.
We're almost there.
We're almost there.
We're still on 5 of 7.
It's not a victory march, it's a marathon. Let's go.
So
Ain't
we're
that the fact?
we're gonna blitz through the revolution here.
No, we don't have to. We can take our
I
time.
thought the Blitz was in World War II.
Shut up. So after that little issue, I decided that I
Little?
probably was not best
Is that a little oopsie?
to be around the battlefield. No, it's not an oopsie. So instead, I kept around the Continental Congress for the majority of the war. There was one point I asked, so this was an awkward thing. At one point in time, they did end up asking me who I was. Taken on the spot, I slightly panicked, and remembering my alcoholic past, I said my name was Samuel Adams from Norfolk, Virginia. Which, funny enough, the guy was like, "Oh, my name's Samuel Adams too." It's like, "Oh, hey."
And then you dapped him up and
Yeah.
made out.
Wait,
No.
so you were drinking you were drinking the beer but before the guy the beer's named after was a thing, and yet you can't
Dude, at
time
this
travel?
point, you might as well just throw the towel in. It's whatever he says. There were 2 Samuel Adams, and he was one of them, apparently.
That does
But only one made alcoholic beverages.
Yeah, he made silverware.
You literally
No.
invented alcohol, so technically it was both of you.
Oh yeah, you did. You
Well,
you were
I-
that
You're not
Adams.
keeping
I
up with your
helped-
own lore. I'm
No,
right
I
here.
helped the Egyptians know what beer
Yes,
is.
but you're the reason it fucking got invented. It spread throughout the globe.
Yeah.
Motherfucker. Oh, they had
That's-
access to
Wait,
hops.
you
got
invent-
drunk on the Silk Road.
You
I'm not
invented
denying
alcohol, and the only alcohol named after you is a shitty brand of beer.
What
You
the
couldn't
shit?
even have said your name was Guinness.
What the Sigma? What the Sigma? I
Hey,
bet,
I
I
never-
bet Samuel Adams went up to you and went, "What the Sigma?"
I never said that I invented.
You
Yes,
Sam-
you
Sam-
did.
literally said you did.
If you would like to listen to what I was about to say, I said I never said I invented Samuel Adams.
No, you did not.
You just
Yes.
invented
You
the
invented the
concept of
shit it's made out
alcohol.
of. You invented the shit that's in the bottle, not the label.
Yes.
Moving on.
So, it was around these years that Congress had the call for independence. See, we had the first draft done, but I may or may not have accidentally destroyed it when I spilled coffee all over it.
Fucking A. Don't you... You have Eldritch powers. Can't you, like, ring it out or something?
How did you
No.
get coffee?
It's a rare commodity. I had the money for
I
it.
mean, coffee was around at that point.
It's a rare commodity.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's,
in all fairness...
Property values must have really gone up since the Big Bang.
I will
bud?
give him this one. He's an Eldritch god.
Oh my.
So he can kind of source the coffee from wherever. Fine. Spence, you win this one.
it's not that coffee wasn't invented. It was a
Why did
little
you keep
expensive.
selling your homes during recessions?
I never sold them. I
Well,
just
some of
left
them got destroyed, but the ones that you just moved out of, you know.
It fit me
just got
to
boring?
leave. Yeah.
Mm.
And I was needed elsewhere.
So how do you know that you're needed elsewhere? Is it just like a ping? Is it Spidey sense?
Oh, I
or
have a-
Do you get like a letter from Uber God?
I have a semi-incorrect, full knowledge of past, present, and future. So I know when I'm needed.
That means that the British people must have done something really bad, and that's why he doesn't want them to
The
exist.
British people did something so truly horrendous. He wiped them from existence, but only in the
His
future.
mind.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Please continue.
Guy named
Hmm.
Continue.
That doesn't even make any sense.
It makes dollars.
So after we got the second draft completed and ratified, the newly formed USA came to be with the help of France and Spain. Yes, I know, France. Believe me, it wasn't my idea. It was that bastard Ben Franklin's idea.
Honestly,
He was too busy over there boning.
You predicted you'd go to France 4 times because you can see the future.
I never said I went to
Your
France
ass-
again.
Your ass was like, Yeah, I think I'll do.
I never said I'd go to France
He didn't
again.
go to France again. France showed up to help.
France showed
came
up to
him.
help. Unfortunately, I can't outrun them.
France
Yes,
is.
you can. You have a private jet, apparently. They don't even know how to fly. Why don't you have some big fucking Nimbus cloud and a floating castle? It seems like your property always gets either destroyed or boring.
You treat France like a toxic ex.
You just keep going back to it.
And it keeps coming back up. Showing back up to you.
You just can't stop being in it, can you?
All right, so
yes, I can, actually.
So in order, it goes Vaporeon, the Sphinx, and then France.
You have some of the worst exes ever.
That's a trail of bodies.
France made him so down horrendous. He had to go on a drinking spree across the Silk Road to recover. And even after all of that, bro went back to her.
You know, fun fact, it was the Silk Road happened first before I ever went to France.
Yeah, but you perceive all things at once.
Yeah,
so
like you knew you were going. You were getting ready. You were pre-gaming.
Well, you see, the thing is that my hatred of France is actually a more recent thing.
Really?
But the hatred of the
See, it
British
was-
is
will be
eternal.
forever.
Hatred of the British will be eternal.
Dude, we can't keep isolating groups like this.
Oh boy. Please continue.
We love British people and we love French people. France.
No.
France
You
and
were on
France
France.
came to you, and you.
France and Spain showed up to help win the war.
Yes.
And past this, only minor nudgings were required, as I slowly left more and more to the Congress and let them govern and make their own mistakes.
Oh, splendid. The Revolutionary War happened.
And, I mean, after all, how can anyone learn that they're led by an immortal eldritch being with semi-perfect knowledge of niche topics to lead them?
Semi-perfect.
As the wheels of time continue to turn,
That's a reference.
Dude.
much like a lady of the night at a truck stop, I rambled around looking for a good time.
Much like France.
We're never gonna make it, dude.
We're gonna make it.
We're near the bottom of page 5.
We've been on page 5 for like 40
Okay.
minutes.
I would get
That's
through
about
these
50%
if you stop
my
bringing
fault.
up the fucking fish.
I
and
never
France.
referenced- Okay, France on the other hand.
We've got this. We're gonna make it.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh no, and then I now have to bring up the French again. Under James Monroe,
It's
the U.S.
magnitude, dude.
the U.S. purchased a huge swath of land from, unfortunately, the French, i.e. the Louisiana Purchase, and the government needed to chart this new
Dude,
land.
Arkansas is coming up.
Is that where Joanne of Arkansas is from?
No. See,
Damn.
at this point, I could smell the adventure brewing like day-old coffee burning on the craft.
Which also reminds me of France.
I set out alone to chart the prairies. It was slow and tedious work, but man, was it gorgeous. As I was in what is now Iowa, I met a group of men doing the exact same thing that I was. Headed by only 2 men, a bunch of dorks. You might know them as Meriwether Lewis and something Clark. See, they were adamant that I should not be out here alone because I had no gear. I had gear. I had my sunglasses, my Hawaiian shirt, my trusty sock,
They were up on
and a
fence by the night I'm tweaking.
my trusty sock and sandal combo. I was straight going for it. To which I called them glampers and ridiculed them for taking so much gear.
Of course you'd call them glampers, you old fucking prune. Glampers?
Yeah.
Glampers.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you know what glamper is?
No. No one said that word
Yes,
since the period you're talking about.
No, it's
I've
actually
said that word.
it's
a really
actually-
common
You guys
slur.
are so fucking old.
Okay,
Holy
Trevor.
shit.
No, we
Trevor.
just camp.
So glampers are the people who have like those big old Class A RVs, the Mercedes with the tile interior and the whole like
Okay.
RV and trailer combo.
So the kind of people that bring luxury and easy living to
Yeah.
areas they shouldn't.
So they bring a lot of
glamorous camping.
glamorous
Glampers,
camping,
okay.
otherwise known as
This
glampers.
is making sense.
It's a slur. It's kind of like calling
A slur.
It's kind of like calling someone British. It's derogatory.
I ridiculed them for taking so much gear with them. I ended up mapping out most of the Mississippi River with many of its tributaries up to and including Lake Itasca, which is actually the I don't remember the word for it. Basically, the beginning of the Mississippi River.
Oh, do you have any of those maps? Can we like see them?
No.
They're all in museums.
Oh,
You sold them?
I gave them.
You gave them.
Indiana Jones showed up.
Yeah, they belonged in a museum and whatnot. So
You belong in a museum.
He
It-
really does.
All of this insanely vague knowledge you have.
see, I ended up really enjoying the northern woodlands of Minnesota, and I ended up cosplaying as a hermit on the banks of the said lake. See, I really enjoyed the nice and reclusive lifestyle until the Instagram influencers of the 1800s, aka Manifest Destiny, started showing up. See, they kept saying horrible things to me like, nice to meet you, and do you want to come over for dinner tonight?
God forbid they be considerate of you.
I swear it was like the beginning, it was beginning to look like an HOA. So I gave up being a hermit and moved back into the city to begin my great work for the next 10 years.
Actually, he was just the pretty all right Gadsby.
See, I took the pseudonym.
I'm gonna rip your nuts off and nail them to my door.
I took the pseudonym John Train.
God damn it.
And began my glorious inventing. As I was creating the first mass production train, I had people walking over and asking me questions like, "Oh, is this one of those new steam locomotives I've heard about from England?" I said, "No, you stupid cunt. This is a train made in America."
Were you John Somersault too?
No.
John Pogo Stick?
John Frisbee.
Why is it that all the people that get to invent stuff are named John and their last name is something completely fucking ridiculous?
I don't know. But it was usually about that time that they stop asking questions.
Did you go by the pseudonym Jimmy Crapper too? Is that why the toilet was called Crapper briefly?
No. Once I finished the design, I sold it to the Baltimore and Ohio Railway.
For like what, 20 cents?
That was a lot back then.
It was.
It was actually a decent chunk, and I had some big boo-goo bucks. So I moved back to Boston.
Because money is like a highly desirable concept to an immortal being.
Why didn't you just sell them your invisible jet? I feel like
Because
Well,
that's
they
my
can't
personal
see it.
jet.
Yeah.
Anyway,
They can't see it. How the fuck would they know how to operate it? Let alone they can't even see it. They wouldn't see the control.
so anyway, I
It's
moved.
not actually invisible.
Imagine they bring it to an auction house and there's like a tarp over it and you can see the shape of a plane and they pull it off and there's nothing.
We lost him.
All right.
Trevor's
5
just,
cents. Who wants it?
Trevor's so cooked.
I'm not cooked. It's just you have.
He's not cooked, he's fried, brother.
Do you understand some of the things you've said?
Yes, I lived through them.
I think he's understood a solid 40% of what he said.
See,
Like he himself. Unicorn.
after I made the money from selling the train, I moved back to Boston and donned yet another pseudonym known as Bill Telephone.
I hate you.
I told people I was from Italy.
Oh, you fucking
And-
asshole.
And I began work on the first light bulb.
Just casually.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're so entrepreneurial.
See, but that rat bastard Edison
No, Micah, that rat, blue balls, Mac.
stole my work and sold it as his own.
I thought something like that happened with Tesla.
See,
We're getting
Tesla
to the
Tesla made the different current
they
Right.
made
than
the plaid
Edison.
model, which has nearly 1,000 horsepower.
No,
it has
Nick-
a 0 to 60 in 2.6 seconds.
No, Nikola Tesla, not Musk,
know,
man.
We're getting to that.
At this point of betrayal, I vowed never to event again for at least a while. It was at some point in time during my studies in Boston. I was sitting in my study, and I looked up at the wall and saw it was just an ugly shade of brown. See, the wall...
Wait a minute. With the time this is happening, be careful throwing ugly and brown around in sentences.
You are treading a
If-
very thin line.
If you will allow me to continue,
He's a tightrope walker, that's for sure.
it was an ugly shade of brown because it was just made of wood. See, at this point in time, I wanted to see the greens of my past because, I'd been in the forest for a lot of time.
Hold on. Just run that by me one more time. You wanted to see the grains of your past?
The greens.
Greens.
The
See,
greens.
I was never made to be a city dweller. I enjoy the forests. I enjoy the color green. So just an ugly wooden wall, it needed a spot of color.
Is this even about history anymore?
Did you adopt the pseudonym Jacob Paint?
No. And I decided that the wall needed to be painted like a Picasso on Adderall. I developed a green so beautiful that you would forget the amount of arsenic that was inside of it.
Andy Arsenic.
See, you could make it without the toxins,
I
but
just wanted to be quirky like that.
you gotta live a little.
You've lived a lot.
See, so this color ended up being extremely popular and became the color of the century. It was in paint, clothes, food,
Makeup.
makeup, paper, hats. See, I was
Tea
fine.
sets.
I was fine just using
Yeah, I
it
wish they'd still
as
put those in the
paint, but
DQ.
food was a
Ice
little
cream
overboard.
cakes.
Right.
Also, fun fact, out of character, if you wanted to
I
make
love
Shields
arsenic.
green,
Mhm.
there you can put it into a custom color creator in a game or something that has like the RGB color code. And the color code for anyone interested is 104, 142, and 38.
Fucking nerd.
That's pretty cool.
Back in, I bore witness to one of the first ever moving pictures. Not the first one, but one of the very first. I've already touched on this in a previous episode. See,
Moving pictures. What did you see? Someone pick up a picture frame and throw it across the room? Was that
No.
your experience?
No, that happened
No,
in a
it
wild
was-
night on the Silk Road.
yeah. No, this was the
Technically, movies
train.
were invented then. You were drunk enough to believe it.
This was the train video, which was just a 5-second video of a
Yes,
train
John
pulling into the station.
I thought they were called movies way before they were called videos because video implies a
It was
form of digital
technically a
media.
moving
Yeah.
picture,
In movies, they're called movies because they move.
and then shortened to movies.
Mind blown.
See, but I still preferred The Lion King versus these new fandangled movies. See, but these
I mean, my brother was in Africa when the Lion King was going on.
You were
see, but
there.
these hit the
Bossa.
public like wildfire. People loved movies and wanted more.
Then the Minecraft movie came out,
During the
and people wanted less. Those people were us.
During the height of the Art Deco phase, the best in show were silent films with music played along with it on like a phonograph. I have never seen people so glued to the screen. To us today, that sounds seriously boring, these silent movies. Those days, much like autistic kids at the Minecraft movie, they were just absolutely enamored with it.
You say mine, I say craft mine.
Get out! At this time also, the prohibition had been going into full swing, and it wasn't easy to get a drink, unless you knew where to go. There were speakeasies in the towns and cities, but I, personally, like to go out to Rum Row off the coast of the Bahamas. You could just go find a person with a boat, and most people, if you paid them, they would take you out there. And it was past the international watermark, so anything was legal.
I can't help but think, if Prohibition's going on, that means World War I's about to start, right?
Yeah.
What happened to the Civil War?
Bro glossed over it. It happened, whatever, Lamau.
No.
Look, John's Civil War.
See, I was busy building my train, okay?
Listen, you failed. You don't remember the Titans.
Yeah, or the Alamo.
Yeah, I was about to say that. And you forgot the Alamo and you don't remember the Titans.
Oh,
You
his
see-
memory has been fuzzy since that time on the Silk Road, alright, dude? Give him some slack.
Bro, you look like, and you sound like you
I
got
could
all the
I
slack.
could certainly use a
We're-
bit of fucking slack right now.
We're almost there.
We're
Oh,
almost
wow.
there.
We are actually
Like
about.
a doctor
we're
with
less-
a fucking catheter.
We're less than half a
We're
page.
almost there. Just a little bit more
We're
rectum
less
to
than
go.
half. We have less than half a page. At this time, though, I was having a great time. There were apparently a lot of people being depressed. I mean,
A lot of people.
if you like to drink and you couldn't get any, I could see how people were depressed. Insert
Just
Great
to get
Depression joke.
some. They were called
On-
speakeasies, not speak hard.
On the other side of the coin, Hollywood, movies, and jazz,
Oh,
and the radio
Are
were
you-
becoming unimaginably
are
popular.
you the famous Jimmy Hollywood?
No. I was
You
Bill
can't
Hollywood.
keep
You
getting
were
away-
Bill Hollywood.
You can't keep getting away with this, man.
Back in the day, it was a lot easier to fake an ID.
Yeah, like Jimmy and Bill Hollywood.
Not far after these were becoming popular, a little issue known as World War II came out.
Was this a little oopsie or a big oopsie?
What were you
See,
doing for
those-
World War One?
I wasn't in World War One.
What about-
But where were you?
During
You
World
said
War
we'd get to it. What about Archduke Franz Ferdinand?
Yeah,
I never dealt with him
Why not?
because
but you
You're
promised.
supposed to be a hero, and you let the war happen.
He's not the hero we need. He's the hero we deserve.
I'm not the hero you wanted or need. I'm just
You're
here.
Bill Hollywood.
I'm Bill
and you're
Hollywood.
John Train.
And John Train and
Wait, Bill Hollywood, John Train, John Travolta? Oh my god.
So to answer your question,
John Tron was already taken, so John Train was the next best option.
I ended up deciding I would help the war effort and became a spy for America.
Did you have a fucking cigarette?
I went-
and a
Did you
mask?
go to France?
Did you
No.
backstab people and go?
Were
I
you
fucking-
that spy?
French dirtbag.
I went deep undercover.
Wow.
I went deep undercover in Germany as Hans Klabrostasch.
What does that mean? Could you decipher it?
It means John Toilet Brush.
God damn it.
Why was it always John? I guess it was Bill that one time.
I was so good at my job. I could wire out so much information.
It's like the kindergarten kid giving himself a star sticker that says "You are."
And
did it."
the Germans never suspected anything. And the beauty of it was
course they did.
they never understood the code phrase "need to clean the toilet." I was so good at my job that the High Command of Germany put me in charge of the counter spy network to attempt to sniff out the mole or spy they believed they had. It was
Is
me.
this the
I
famous-
was the
You
mole.
were the rat.
I was the mole in Germany. Anyway,
He was the rat.
He was the rat.
You're
through
Micah.
many efforts, including my own, Germany was defeated. They got the stanky leg put on them.
So about those
And-
atomic bombs,
You know.
We
are those the big oopsie?
no, that's not my oopsie. That's someone else's.
You didn't stop it.
I was the toilet brush. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Fair.
You saw it coming. You literally.
I said a semi-perfect knowledge of
Semi-perfect.
niche
How-
topics.
How well does it work? Like 30%?
So
At least
where
40.
were
Not semi.
so
At least
so,
40%.
So World War II happened.
Yeah.
You helped solve that.
Yep.
What out of mild curiosity, what were you doing in the year say 2001?
asking for a friend.
Yeah,
Well, I
a friend
wasn't-
of mine
My
who
friend-
used to
the
live in
friend
New
is
York.
Jay Schlatt.
Well, I wasn't in New York, if that's what you're asking.
Uh-huh.
Were you flying, one of this invisible jet?
No, I was actually.
Was there a third tower and an invisible?
Were there invisible people inside?
No, I was actually
the
in.
invisible fire truck just pulled up.
I was actually down in Miami, but we'll get to that. After the war, I returned home to enjoy the atomic age decorum of the 50s and 60s. Dude, it was wild. I love that shit so much. No,
Were you in one of the weird psychedelic cults?
no,
Did you participate in the MK Ultra experiments?
no.
Oh.
But
Why
no,
couldn't you just be the leader of a cult?
The
You
o-
are a god.
the only
kind of.
downside. I mean, you're right,
You're
but
an
I don't
eldritch
want to.
being.
I just didn't want to.
Does your power ever wane? It's never based off of worship, right?
No,
Okay.
it's just there.
Huh.
See, even though I really enjoyed the 50s and 60s, you had to be cautious about everything, especially if it had the word atomic in it. Because if it had the word atomic, it meant you were going to get cancer. Like, and also you stay
But
away.
smoking cigarettes, on the other hand,
You
That
also,
poor kid who got an
Yeah.
atomic ass drop in middle school.
now he has cancer.
you also stayed away from the uranium glass, which they were making at the time. And then, little
Uranium glass.
Yeah. uranium fever. Anyway, the 70s, boy, let me tell you that. It was some really weird times. It was like a whole damn acid trip. But seriously, the majority of people I met were actually on acid, so yeah, it checks out. I attended Woodstock, and to this day, I still smell the funk from those few days.
You sure that's not your fucking 1,000-year-old underwear?
No,
he
those were
lost
stolen in
yeah, but you
Rome.
replace them, and based off of your track record, I feel like you keep your clothing for a while. Like, longer than you should. You kept the gilded underwear for actual millennium. Why wouldn't you keep your current underwear the same way?
Because they just don't make it like they used to.
Okay, boomer.
I mean, technically, he's not a boomer, he's a banger, because he was around for the Big Bang.
Okay, banger.
Yeah, okay,
Heck yeah.
banger.
Those were some gnarly times, but man, I love the shag carpet.
I bet you did love to shag on the carpet.
It
You
was
ever, like, lose
it
stuff
was-
in the shag carpet? I feel like it was
Yeah,
always too
you did.
thick. And,
You
like,
did.
you would lose small children in it, and it'd eat them up. Like
The worst
like a
was
ball
pencils.
pit, you know?
you'd lose fucking pencils in shag
Well,
carpet.
no, pencils...
I thought the worst
That-
was the heroin needles.
You know how, like... Oh. I was about to make a joke
And that
about,
shit-
like, the
that
pencil
shit was
dimension,
fucking
but...
everywhere.
Yeah.
Heroin?
No.
You ever
well,
step on your
that too,
shag
but
carpet and then get a
shag carpet.
searing pain
Oh.
followed by a
It was-
funny numb feeling?
And then AIDS.
Yeah!
It was,
Spence, did that ever happen to you?
no.
You can't get AIDS.
Seriously,
Can
the
you
shag-
feel the effects of drugs now that I think about it? Because if you can't get AIDS...
He can. He was drunk on the Silk Road for a while, remember?
Well, right, but you can't get any disease.
diseases and
Can
alcohol.
You just choose?
You see, no, I can't get sick, but I can get alcohol poisoning,
Okay, so okay.
as I found out.
Please continue, Magic Man.
Don't
Much
worry,
like
we're-
the French,
we're
the
g-
white flag is being raised right now. I'm done.
We're almost there.
Hi, done.
But no, back to the shag carpeting.
You're in the invisible tower, and this is the invisible
It
plane.
was seriously everywhere. In your house, in your bathroom, on your toilet, in your car, in your RV, in your toilet, on your RV. To set it straight, for the 70s and 80s, everything was brown and smelled slightly of BO and hairspray.
Sounds just like middle school.
And it was about sometime in the 80s, I decided I would go down to Miami. And that was the place to be. I ended up becoming a detective and spent many days solving crimes in my pastel shirts and suit jackets while driving a Daytona Spider Ferrari.
You did not have a Daytona Spider Ferrari.
Yes, I did. They made a whole TV show about it.
For the audience at home, which TV show?
Miami Vice.
I thought so.
But
I
those
also figured.
but those days came to an end when pastels died, which was early 2000s.
The day the towers fell.
No, it was
pastels
after.
died.
It was after that. And Not far after that, when Pastels died, I soon moved to the undetermined city number 486, and soon began pulling all types of shenanigans, such as being on a podcast.
What made you want to come here to undisclosed city 468? Is that correct?
Yeah, no, 486.
486.
Yeah.
Apparently, I'm dyslexic. It's really late.
Hi, dyslexic. I'm Tommy.
I'm going to fucking kill you. What made you want to come and record a podcast, Grandpa?
I don't know. It felt like a good idea at the time.
Where do you see the podcast in the future? Because you can see the future, but only like 40% of it.
I see that we are over our time frame. So thank you for everyone. This has been the story, the epic, nay, the legend.
To anyone who made it through that psychotic rambling, I would like to sincerely say thank you.
I would also like to thank every
appreciate
audience
you.
member that made it through the whole 2 hours and 18 minutes as of
Oh, he's
now.
gonna get.
We're
it's-
gonna easily lose 20 minutes of this. We might even dip under 2 hours. I don't know.
Whoa!
but
Look at that.
We may.
regardless,
Don't sound
to all
French.
those that made it, thank you.
We appreciate you
Stop
all.
saying the wee wees. You're being French.
we.
I spent too much time there. All right, guys. We'll catch you in the next one.
Thank you for listening to Complimentary
I'm
Mania.
gonna go pay my mortgage or something.
I'm gonna sleep.
I am also going to sleep.
I am
Good
also going to
night,
sleep.
everybody.
I'm Trevor. Ah, yeah,
Good
yeah,
night.
yeah.
Yeah.